find a win with this Shaman.
Yeah, the Shaman up against the mid-range Murloc Paladin. I've casted actually this matchup a few times because a lot of players have been kind of trying to target aggro with these N'Zoth decks, and N'Zoth Shaman has been one of the decks they've been trying to make it happen with. And one of the issues that the Shaman deck can run into is that it's so reactive and it's always waiting for its opponent to kind of commit to the board and then it responds, is that the Paladin can set up situations where you really have to AoE, but you don't want to, because they're able to commit just the Murlocs that don't really do anything, just like, you know, the weaker Murlocs like the Rock Pool, without actually committing the Murloc War Leader. And then you find yourself in a situation where you still have to Volcano, even though you're not killing any of the key threats. And then they can reload the board again with the Silverhand Murlocs from the hero power and threaten the same board over and over again and just overwhelm you eventually, because eventually you run out of stuff to clear all the tokens. How late game are we gonna go? And it looks like all the way.
Apparently pretty late game.
Yeah.
And less good options for Casey. He has had some pretty unfortunate stone hills over the last couple of games.
He's really looking for Thing from Below. It's so powerful with the deck. It allows you to kind of turn the corner and you know, pump the gas, because you can get a bunch of them Spirit Echoed and then reload the board with a bunch of 0-mana 5/5s and really tempo out your opponent. And without that switch to kind of be proactive, you can't really kill your opponent, so you're at the mercy of Paladin's ability to reload. And it's one of the best reloading decks in the game. So no matter how many times you clear it, a lot of the time Paladin's going to be able to reload. So at some point you need to develop the board and get out there. And it's going to be difficult to do if he's not able to find those Thing from Belows and, you know, clear the board and then play a bunch of 0-mana 5/5s on the same turn.
So how important is Finja in this matchup? I mean, obviously it nets you a couple of Murlocs, it's great value, but it's not going to be always the high value Murlocs that you're used to seeing from the Finja package.
Well, one of the things about Finja, it's really good to thin your deck so you can get your, you know, bigger threats, but also it can be kind of expensive because you could pull out your Vilefin Inquisitors, and then you no longer have the ability to change your hero power, and from that point, your hero power becomes useless, and it's not a threat to Casey, and then you run into issues. So it's actually not the worst thing in the world for your opponent if it starts pulling those out, making it so you can't change the hero power. Is kind of interesting, because the hero power being Murlocs is just so powerful. And right now, Kalento's kind of fizzling out. He's hit a lot of his reactionary tools, a lot of his removal against a deck that's not trying to threaten him, a deck that's just trying to clear the board as many times as it can. So these equalities and concepts are not really going to do anything.
Yeah, he would have liked to have a much stronger reload that turn post-Volcano. Try to be able to pick up some of that tempo again and really go as wide as possible.
We could see the Spike Ridge Steed maybe come out here to try and clear the way for Tyrion, and try and bait the Hex or the Devolve so that then you can play Tyrion on the following turn more easily. But it does look like he's just going to go with the Gentle Megasaur. He says 1 Murloc is enough value for me. And definitely not ideal. You know, you never hit 1 Murloc in this matchup and are super happy about it. This is a matchup where your opponent's trying to exhaust your hand completely, and you're throwing out one of the best buff cards in your deck on only 1 card. Redemption landing on a 1/1 is also just ugly. The Shaman is off to a very powerful start, and the Paladin's still not out of it, though. Even though the Shaman is having such a great start, such a great stance on the board, it still has the issue of trying to close the game.
Yeah.
If Casey can find N'Zoth, then it could maybe close the game because you're able to get the Karen back. But even then, N'Zoth and only the Karen back is not the most powerful, you know, showstopper play in the world.
And while the equality consecrations are rather dead right now, eventually Casey will try to fill up his board, in which case those will actually be active.
And Kalento here just kind of trying to sniff out a Hex, trying to test for it, see if maybe there is one, and then he can be safe to play Tyrion. Going to be met with the Devolve. That did a lot of work.
Yeah, not very good options.
Oh, man.
Hot Spring to heal back up is Really fantastic value for the Bane.
Yeah, he's got to take care of that Mana Tide. You can't let your opponent draw a bunch of additional cards. If they have enough cards, they will string together some sort of offense and also just have enough tools to outlast everything you could possibly do. But Sunkeeper Tarim is one of the better draws in his deck at some point. At this point, maybe not that point, though. But he can kind of set it up. If he paves the way with an Equality Consecrate this turn, maybe develops the Murloc out there and puts a secret up like Redemption so he can guarantee some board presence, kind of pave the way for Sunkeeper. Or he's just going to go Sunkeeper right now.
I mean, you can leave yourself with a 3/7 taunt and a 3/3 on board.
He's really valuing holding on to that equality is what this tells me.
I think that's fair. You have 2 copies of the Consecration, so the equality is automatically the more valuable card in hand, just because it enables those AoE combos.
Yeah, he runs double copies of equality in the deck. You might be thinking if he could try and force one of these Spirit Echoes out for low value, he could have an alternative game plan of exhausting Casey. It's always a possibility. We do see the Thing from Below coming out, and there is no Spirit Echo on it. So the more resources Casey commits without the Spirit Echo, the closer you get to exhausting his deck. He does not have that many threats in it.
Well, Kolento picks up the second equality, so 2 full board clears now enabled, but Casey wasn't biting at any of those bait that Kolento was attempting to put out there, and that Tyrion is going to get hexed. Kolento will have a natural copy of Tyrion in the deck.
Yeah, and that Spirit Echo is brutal. That gives Casey so much extra gas going forward. Yeah, a little late for the Inquisitor. He's had opportunities where he really wished his hero power was Murloc so that he could get the Gentle Megasaur upgrade. And you don't even feel good about clearing this board because it comes back. You effectively spend 2 cards to beat nothing. Just slow it down.
Remove a couple of damage from the board, but it comes right back.
Right. So you can take 8 for a while. You definitely don't Equality Consecrate this. This is not that threatening of a board. There's no Bloodlust or anything like that from Casey's deck, so being at 30, I think you're very comfortable here. Kolento seems to disagree. He's picking up that Equality. Wow, that's very aggressive. He's got no support behind this to, like, develop. I think that's really premature.
I mean, I could definitely see that if Casey was at a lower health total, if you had more to develop behind it. I mean, maybe he's just feeling like he can make liberal use of it because he has that second combo in hand and Casey doesn't have much pressure behind it, he's hoping.
I mean, you know what's coming back.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, you're seeing that board at least one more time.
Right.
You know, plus whatever might be in Casey's hand still.
I guess maybe using it baits out Casey to go all in, and then you get him with the second one.
That's possible. Oh,
well, if you used the first one on a smaller board than this, then I expect him to use the second one here. Unless he's trying to just bait Casey, if he's trying to say that he doesn't have it. But if you hero power pass now, I think Casey's going to put 2 and 2 together and figure out you got the Equality Consecrate. So he has to kind of do it. He's committed to this line of play. And he picks up, the Rock Pool is a solid pickup here to be able to buff the Hydrologist, fill out his curve. He only had 4 mana to spend on this turn anyway. But he's going to take it even slower, just trying to get max value out of the hero power. Just eke out every point of value where he can as this game's starting to come to a very grindy position.
I mean, a couple of great draws still left in deck for Kolento. Curator, natural copy of Tyrion, Rag Lightlord is one of them.
It's not a bad one.
Just need to be able to apply pressure.
Right, when you have no gas, that seems good. Is he gonna commit it? Yeah, he is going to commit it. I wonder what he's saving this Hydrologist for. He might be saving it.
You can pick up Getaway Kodo or Redemption and target the natural copy of Tyrion in your deck still.
Right.
I mean, maybe you need that at this point.
Wow, gonna hold on to the Volcano.
Okay, Stonehill could be a nice pickup.
Yeah. Kolento needs to try and get enough stats on the board where Volcano isn't an issue, and Bog Creeper does that. And then the Light Lord's guaranteed to heal itself after the trade, so you could trade that into the 3/4. Now this Volcano, not as effective, but the Storm can set it up for Casey.
24 total health on board.
Right. And you can get
Storm
rid of
removes at least
most
10.
of it, yeah.
Elects to go with the Devolve. The Beast coming out for Kalento will leave Casey with a 3-3
Yeah.
after the Beast dies. Finkel Einhorn, I believe it's called.
Well, the Beast is not dying today.
Well. Okay, well, there's 2 mana, negate 9. A Curator's a nice draw, though.
It seems a little greedy, but he really wants to hold on to the Storm. If he would have like stormed and then just volcanoed, he would have cleared 100%, not having to rely on the devolve. Yeah, Kalento could do some things here with the Hydrologist to, get back the Beast if he wants it.
That's actually
It's a big minion. I don't know how good it is.
Well, it's an interesting use of the Devolve, because
Right.
if Casey was paying attention, you saw that the first copy of Tyrion came from a Stonehill, which means there is still one more copy of Tyrion. Yes, you have another Hex in your deck, but it's not in your hand right now. Devolve was your way to get rid of that Tyrion.
Yeah. Hoping to pick up the second one, or the second Hex, I guess, but all the way up to 30, and the tides are starting to switch. 2 cards now for Casey, 4 cards for Kalento. He's starting to accumulate that Paladin late game. The Curator was able to fuel his hand. Now the hero power is very active with Gentle Megasaur in his hand.
What does the N'Zoth net for Casey? Still just Karen?
Still just Karen, yeah. He has not found his White Eyes yet. He's going to likely try and hold out for the White Eyes, but it might not be possible. And he stormed last turn, so he's only got 8 mana going into the next turn. So his only play is the Ooze, which is not very powerful.
I mean, if this is a bit of a whiff turn for Casey, then Kalento can really capitalize. Those Murlocs build up very quickly, especially when you have a Megasaur to adapt for +1/+1,
Right.
+3 attack.
We've seen a lot of the AoE, so that's when these hero powers really start stacking. That's what I was trying to say, like when I was explaining the matchup in general. That's eventually you can't kill everything. They just hero power every single turn, and they just really stack up eventually. So then the Gentle Megasaur gets extreme value. And look at how many little Murloc heroes there are.
They're so ready for action.
Yeah.
Whew.
It's gonna be a lot of damage potentially you could swing at him.
Couple of very nice options.
I like Flaming Claws. You're a little worried about Maelstrom Portal though, so he is gonna take the responsible choice and go with +1/+1 to help him play around Maelstrom Portal. And good on him for doing that. Yeah.
Yep. Wise choice by Kalento.
Right.
Obviously, Caster Vision is 20/20, but oh, that's pretty good.
What better use of a giant board of Murlocs than buffing them all up so they kill everything?
I cannot think of one, Firebat.
Yeah, it's just fantastic. The Murloc Paladin against control decks, it feels kind of like Jade Druid, because you see, like, the Jades get infinite. Well, the Murlocs are kind of infinite too. They just start really little and you got to grow them up. It's a more interactive experience.
You gotta put some time into your Murlocs. Really
Right.
get to know them, nurture them.
Be gentle with them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Eventually, they're gonna love you in return. They're gonna pay back in spades.
They're gonna go to war for you. Give them a leader.
Those little hammers
They are adorable.
doing work.
I want one. I want a little pet
Little pet-
Murloc hero dude.
Oh, another Murloc. Not quite as cute.
No, not the same thing. And Kalento is going to take it with the reverse sweep, 3-2. The N'Zoth deck just couldn't stop the mid-range pressure, just eventually ran out of AoE clears for Kalento's minions, and the hero power generating Murlocs every single turn. It just becomes unstoppable at some point.
It is very difficult for the Shaman to deal with that much Murloc generation. Couple of really weak draws for Kalento there, but all it really took was one bad turn for Casey, one poor draw, and Kalento was able to capitalize, get the Curator down, build up that hand, build up the board, and it was all over from there.